la vida de ese niño?
The life of that child is being changed.
Porque este programa impacta sus vidas.
Because this program impacts their lives.
Y cuando sean grandes,
And when they become adults in the future,
se recuerdan de eso.
they will remember the help they received when they were children.
De la ayuda y del amor que han recibido.
They will remember all the help and all the love they've received as children.
Compassion International sponsors over 1.5 million children throughout the world. I flew to Cochabamba, Bolivia to meet one of them. That's me with a guitar. This is my first missions trip. My wife and I have sponsored a young girl named Sarah for a few years now. We write her letters and pray for her often. But I really never thought that I would one day meet her in person. To be honest, I was a little hesitant about even going on this trip. Was it worth the money? Was it worth the time away from home? Besides, how much impact could I really have on anyone's life in just 7 days? Little did I know, I was about to have all those questions answered. People say a smile is contagious. That couldn't be more true. Every project we visited was overflowing with energetic, smiling kids. For the most part, many of us on the trip didn't speak the same language as the kids. But some things don't need to be said. They welcomed us into their projects with enthusiasm and open arms. They went on to bless us with song, a lot of dancing, and some really good food. And when it was finally our turn to share with them, we had a captive audience. For a moment, I forgot that I was in one of the poorest areas of South America. When I took a moment to step outside of the project center, I witnessed a completely different scene. Still within earshot of singing and laughter, these children, while within arm's reach of hope, were not sponsored. This is what every day looks like for thousands of children in this area. You could visibly see the difference on the faces between the children sponsored by Compassion and the ones who are not. We got permission to invite them inside to join us for a church service. We were able to pray with them and remind them that they are loved, that God cares for them greatly, and that they are not forgotten. As they were leaving, I captured this moment. They left alone. No parents or guardian coming to search for them to make sure that they were safe. They just quietly returned home. I began to imagine what kind of conditions they were returning to after leaving a place full of such peace, protection, and provision. The thought of it brought me to tears. I had to put down my camera. Part of going on a Compassion trip is experiencing home visits, to see firsthand where the children live. There was one home that I will never be able to wipe from my memory. Before visiting Bolivia, I couldn't have imagined what some of these kids go through on a daily basis. It's poverty like I've never seen. When we first walked in, I expected to see a mother or father with their children. What I saw instead rocked me to the core. A child raising a child. This is Ava. In America, she would be a freshman in high school. But because her mother died after giving birth to her sister, and her stepfather works away from home for days on end, Ava now spends every day raising her siblings.
Eva, tal vez con todo el trabajo que estás haciendo por tus hermanitos, todo lo que te esfuerzas, debe haber sido duro para ti que todo esto haya pasado tan rápido, ¿no? Este año en el colegio, todo ha sido muy complicado, ¿no? Sí, demasiado complicado. It's been way too complicated to handle.
Is she able to see her friends?
¿Tus amigos te vienen a visitar? ¿Te apoyan? No.
Ava's home was only one of several that our team visited during our trip. The heartbreaking stories were just too numerous to count. In a place that sometimes feels hopeless, there is hope. These are the Gap Kids. Once compassion children themselves, they are now in a special program consisting of 18 to 21-year-olds preparing to go into the workforce. They are the representation of how successful the Compassion Sponsorship Program can be. And after spending some time with them, there is no doubt about it. These are the next world changers. And if there was one thing that they taught us, it was this: that despite the circumstances around you, you can still love, and you can laugh, and you can worship God. Everywhere we went, we noticed the same thing. These people know how to love one another. They know what it means to be grateful for what they have. And they understand the impact that prayer has in their lives. After spending days with these precious children, all I could think about was meeting Sarah. It's been almost 4 years of writing letters to one another, and now I was about to see her face to face. The day for us to meet our children had finally come. Anticipation on the faces. Yes.
Yes, you're up next.
Awesome. This is what makes Compassion International so unique. They understand the importance and put the emphasis on building a real relationship with your sponsor child and their family. I filmed and waited as patiently as I could while others met their children. It was amazing to watch. I wonder what was running through Sarah's mind as she stood in line to meet me. Some of these children traveled 8 to 12 hours to be here. Sarah was one of them. Was she as excited as I was? Would she be shy and timid? I was about to find out one way or the other, because I was next.
Joe, you're up.
It's hard to express how I felt holding Sarah in that moment. Her picture hangs on her fridge at home, so I've seen her face every day for years. Meeting her in person is changing my world. She's real, she's beautiful, and holding her felt just like holding my little girl back in the States. God knew what He was doing when He brought her into our lives. We only had the afternoon to spend together, but we made the most of every minute. With the help of our translator, I learned that Sarah loves to draw and dreams of being an art teacher someday. She asked about my wife and daughter, and her face lit up when I played a video message they recorded for her in Spanish.
How are you? ¿Cómo estás? Te amo, I love you.
I was also grateful to meet Sarah's wonderful mother, Juana, and her baby brother, Jose. We all sat down to exchange gifts and pray for each other. All over the park, sponsors were hugging and kissing their kids goodbye, and making the same promise I was, to write more letters.
Sí, these are my treasures. Qué lindo.
Treasures. The same word that Sarah and almost every other compassion child used to describe the letters and the photos we send to them.
So I was registered at the compassion program when I was between 8, 9, and until I was 18 years old. After I finished high school, then I went at university. So I graduated at 18 years old, and I had one sponsor all the way through.
That's Raquel. Once a sponsored child herself, she now works for Compassion. She has kept every single letter from her sponsor and carries them with her to this day. Raquel's sponsor made a lasting impact in her life. But there are far more children who are in need of that kind of support. In need of love, encouragement, and hope. In need of a sponsor.
Ver cada situación que tienen las familias.
So as a tutor, I have witnessed and I have seen the tangible needs that families have. I've seen it myself.
Y poder ver, y cada caso que veo es muy conmovedor.
And every single case I get to see and work with is very touching. It's very heartbreaking also.
Y a veces llego a su casa y se me hace un nudo en la garganta.
Sometimes I get to their homes and by seeing how they live, I have my throat is clogged up and I have to hold back the tears.
De no poder hacer nada con ellos, ¿no?
And I feel frustrated because sometimes I cannot do more for them.
Solo me pongo a orar, ¿no?
So all I do is I pray for them.
Y a pedir la ayuda del Señor
And I pray that God sends help for these people.
para que pueda estar iluminando esas familias.
That the Lord may illuminate these lives and these families.
Por ese motivo decirles, ¿no?
So because of all this, I would like to tell you,
A cada uno de
to
ustedes
tell each and every one of you,
que se pongan ¿no? la mano al corazón, ¿no? Y que sigan ayudando a las familias, ¿no?
to please let your hearts be touched in this moment and please consider helping and supporting these families.
Que no se desanimen,
That you may not grow weary of helping us.
porque es una gran bendición para sus familias.
Because this is such a great support and blessing to these families.
If you could send a message to someone in America who maybe doesn't think compassion makes that big of a difference or is possibly considering sponsoring a child but doesn't really know if they should or if they want to, what would you say to them?
Working with compassion, you are over there, but we're here. We see the compassion is really working, and we see the change in the children, you know, thanks to your support. They have a piece of bread on their table. Not at home, but we build, you know, a place where they can come, they have a breakfast, because sometimes at home they don't have breakfast. They have lunch. They also have support, you know, teaching principles. Oh, it's wonderful work with Compassion. I really encourage you to help these kids. They really need it a lot.
Entonces, para nosotros sería una alma más de poder alcanzar la salvación y poder cubrirlo, quizá en una cierta cantidad, sus necesidades. Nuestra misión, nuestro propósito, nuestro anhelo, deseo también es que a todas las mamás necesitadas, familias necesitadas, poder llegar a ellos, poder animarlos, poder decirlos, y una de las oportunidades que tenemos es el Compassion, que nos pueda ayudar, que nos pueda abrir, darnos unas cuotas más para que podamos escribirlos y llegar a las familias. Sabemos con lo que llegamos nosotros podemos conseguir muchos resultados.
So I would encourage you to become a sponsor with Compassion, because from my experience, I've been in the Compassion program, gave me hope. What I can remember the most in my project is having the support of my director, and he was a big part of our lives, as the children, our tutors, we had the pastor, we had the project director, the staff, and the director especially, he gave me hope for me to go to university. I didn't think I was going to go any further studies than high school, because no one in my family had gone to university, and I haven't seen people in my neighborhood going to university because it was like far away. We have to go 1 hour travel to the university, but they always believe in me. Because my director was saying, you are good in studies, you can go to university. That's why I was thinking, I got to think, maybe I can go to university then, because the director believes I can. And so I will encourage you to sponsor a child, because they have the support of the church there, and then because we have your support through the letters and through your prayers.
Remember how I said I didn't know if the trip was worth the time and money? I can tell you that every moment, whether it was joyful or broke my heart, was worth it. Many of the words I would use to describe the people I met in Bolivia are found in Galatians chapter 5. They are joyful, kind, patient, and faithful people. Their love for God extends out to others through their generosity and compassion. I had the honor to participate in the ribbon-cutting ceremony of the new classrooms our church built for one of the compassion projects we visited. If walls could talk, I'm sure these would someday tell stories of kids like Raquel, who cherish their sponsor letters and grow to accomplish things far beyond their dreams. My wife and I were so moved by this experience that we felt led to sponsor a second child, this time a little boy in Burkina Faso, Africa. One day, I will meet him as well. I wish I could show you the many other ways compassion is facilitating change in Bolivia and beyond. But it is something you can discover for yourself. Your journey can start like ours did, by sponsoring a child. You can write back and forth and learn about them and their family. And maybe one day, you will hear your name called as a little boy or girl runs into your arms. You will be amazed at how far love can reach.